Hi, my name is Kendall Weeses, and today we're going to talk about initiatives and referendums when it comes to our government, specifically in the state of Arizona. Let's begin with talking about the definition of the two. First, initiative. It's a process that allows citizens to bypass their state legislator by placing proposed statutes or constitutional amendments on the ballot, and these are new, where a referendum is a measure that appears on the ballot as a result of a voter petition, which is similar to the initiative because they are both triggered by petitions to get onto the ballot. But the referendum allows voters to approve or repeal an act of legislative. In order to create initiative or referendums specifically for the state of Arizona, there needs to be an application filled out with the Secretary of State's office. They need to obtain signatures from eligible voters and then submit the petition by the deadline to the Secretary of State and various county recorders. They will then process this petition and determine whether enough signatures were gathered to place that measure on the ballot. The differences between the two are the origin. Initiatives start with the people drafting and petitioning to add to the ballot, where the referendum starts with the government, and then it looks for people's approval in the sense of whether they want to repeal or uphold. And then their approaches are a little different, kind of like the initiative, where this begins with the people. This is an idea by the people, a new idea, and referendum is looking to either take away or change. Then the similarities between the two. They both get the citizens to have an active role in being a part of democratic legislative process, and then they both exist in government and also in non-political voting. There are disadvantages and advantages to both. For initiative, advantages can include keeping legislators in check and more responsive. This lets them know that people are paying attention or that they are looking for the importance of their roles as citizens and keeping legislative in check in the sense of making sure that their rights are heard. They are also more likely to introduce governance reform policies. As for cons, with it being new in these ideas or laws drawn up by citizens, they might not be drafted the way they are intended, with being fitting into the legislative way. There are also a high number and complexity of issues for voters because they're expected to vote on so many things that they might not have all the knowledge to make an informed vote on these instances, but also that not all voters have access to these initiatives that well-resourced organizations or interest groups might have. With these things that are a potential for voting on, they might not be part of that class that gets to take in the new law that might not reach them like it might reach another class of individuals. As for the advantages of a referendum, it re-engages voters. This lets them know that they have a voice and that it, if there's something that they might not agree with, that they can make a change. It also is used to resolve political problems, avoiding splitting of the parties and kind of just making sure that the people are happy. As for disadvantages, it can weaken the representative democracy by undermining the role and importance of elected representatives. Someone who might have amended this or started this law might be seen as being undermined if the law is taken away, that they went as far to make a law. And then also that the voters do not always have all the information on what they're voting about. And this is just without the knowledge, it's hard to vote on these instances. And some people might vote just willy-nilly instead of actually taking the time to research, or instead of just leaving it blank, they might feel like they have to fill it out. And then it might be used to suit the needs of a specific governing party. If one party had this law set and another party trying to take it away, they might see that as a conflict of interest. And then as far as direct democracy, they both support this because they're both way for citizens to vote on the laws themselves, and they give people a say in how their government works, and it gives the citizens a voice that they might not have in other ways. This lets them have power to the laws that they are abiding by, and letting them have a say in their rights, and letting them move to make these changes if they seek that, but also keeping them intact. If there's not a big support for that, they can't just do it just because one person doesn't like something. So I believe that this really has the power and supports direct democracy to give the people a voice but keep them in check as well. Thank you.